Hello. SolarLune here. I'm an independent game developer, and here's a devlog video that I'm making regarding the projects that I've been working on. It's been a while since the last devlog video, and it's interesting because I was doing a lot of streams before, but not everyone has the time to sit through 4-hour streams. So I'll see if I can maybe pivot back to ordinary videos that way, or maybe do ordinary videos in addition. That way people can stay up to date, but they don't have to watch an entire block of videos of just a super long video. They can just watch whatever they want to watch. This is also an attempt to try to keep myself nice and skilled in Blender. Like I haven't done video sequence editing in a while using Blender.
This man is incorrect. He ended up using KDE in Live, not Blender. Whoops, oh well.
And I have kind of worked out a couple of the kinks I believe that I was running into, and I think it's high time that I go back and try to like do some nice stuff. So maybe I'll even have some editing in this video. Whoa, ooh, whoa, ooh, whoa. Yeah, okay, so anyway, whatever. Let's just move on. So master plan. First, when you open master plan, you get a nice little splash screen that comes up for like a millisecond before it disappears. But I thought it would be nice to add that little splash screen. It's a little hard to see because it comes up on my second screen and then I have to move it over. But yeah, it's a nice little splash screen, and I'll try to maybe keep splash screens coming as I work on master plan and do kind of major version updates. So that's cool. Let's see. Next thing, that's much more important. I added a timer task. So if you go ahead and create a task, you can choose timer as the task type. You can name the timer. So for example, you can say, oh, I have to do like a, maybe I have to like finish, or we'll just do something simple like coding, right? So you say, I want to spend maybe 15 minutes on coding. And then you can go ahead and have this little timer here. You press play and it'll start the timer countdown. When the timer's over, you'll get a nice little sound. Okay. There you go. So you get a nice little notification that says timer has elapsed with the name of it. And so this way you can have something like a 15-minute timer for coding, and then you're good to go. And if you have timers in sequence vertically, like so, then they will execute in sequence as well. So you can have something like coding and art for, let's say, 15 minutes each, separated by a break of, let's say, 5 minutes, right? There you go. And so, yeah, copying and pasting also has been improved. So when you copy and paste something, it'll automatically go to the bottom of the stack. Like that, which is cool. Yeah, so a couple of improvements right there, right out the gate. So I thought that having a timer system might be a good idea because a lot of people prefer to do kind of Pomodoro style development cycles, where kind of like what I described right there, where you have a period of working and then a period of break and a period of working and a period of break, and each period is maybe 25 minutes, 15 minutes, and each break is a certain amount of time. And so by kind of having this workflow, you kind of stay up on a task while also not overworking yourself, and you can trigger this in sequence. So you can like code break, code break, code break, code break, art break, kind of like that. And you can kind of see where you stand, and it fits in well with master plan's ideology of not really forcing you to do anything, not really forcing you to commit to a specific method of development. If you want to use timers, you can. If you want to use images and sounds, you can. If you want to use tasks, you can. But you don't have to. You can just go ahead and work on things completely normally at your own discretion. You can use deadlines, you cannot. All of that is up to you. So that's cool. Yeah. Text boxes have been drastically improved, and this is good because basically they weren't that usable, they weren't that fun to use before. Now they're a lot easier. So if you type in some text, for you to do blah blah blah. Okay, so if you type in some text, the first thing is it's a lot easier to select lines. It works much like a word processor does now, where if you click over to the right of a line, it'll give you the end of that line. So that's good. It's a lot more accurate with clicking like in sentences as well. And you can click and drag to select text. You can hold shift and use the arrow keys to select text as well. And you can also use the shift key and click to select text, which is good. You can copy and paste text from within here. You can delete massive amounts of text. You can cut text and paste it. You can copy and paste text from outside of master plan. So it's all working pretty well, actually. Yeah, so this is rather cool. Yeah, so it's not perfect. You know, the description box isn't perfect. I probably should make a word wrap system so that it, you know, wraps a certain amount, and maybe there's a certain amount of maximum characters you can put into the description, maybe like 999 or something like that. But basically, this is nice. This is working as intended, except for this. This is stretching off screen, but it's working. So that's cool. Yeah, so text boxes are drastically improved. Timers are added. You can now select multiple tasks at a time. Oh, our coding timer's about to go off. You can now select multiple tasks at a time. So if you have a situation like this, oh yeah, so you can select tasks like this and move them. So before you can move multiple tasks at a time, now you can. So that's a nice improvement. And when you move tasks, they no longer adjust to the indentation of the task they're moving into, because I found it to be a little awkward because they didn't always move consistently. Like moving up would move it into like the above tasks indentation, moving it down would kind of keep the above tasks indentation. So it wasn't really quite consistent. It didn't feel right. So I feel like this is better in that now tasks just keep the indentation that you have. That way you can better arrange how you want tasks to be arranged. So for example, if you say like, okay, here's, you know, some kind of task we need to complete, right? And we say, oh, we want to go ahead and move these out. Now let's say we want to move all of these down, right? And then we say, you know what, task 4 actually has different stages, so we can indent that. And it's a lot easier. Now it's a lot simpler because you just push it over and it's, you know, indented, rather than having to worry about like, oh, you know, this is indented until I move it down, then the indentation disappears. Now the indentation is purely just based off the position. Master plan doesn't try to like improve that that process or interfere with that process. It's completely up to you. So I feel like it's just a little bit simpler and a little bit easier to deal with, which is always for the better. Resources have been improved. Before, each task had its own like image it would display. It had its own each task had its own image that it would display. Each task had its own sounds that it would play. And so this was kind of causing some overlap, because like if you copied a GIF and pasted it, it would kind of copy a lot of the same information. And so now I basically made a centralized location for resources to be stored. So if you have an image in your board and you copy and paste that around, it's not going to go ahead and like copy that image in memory. It's going to just reuse the same image and just display it again elsewhere. So that's cool. Also, I added a MIME type library, and if you're for file type identification. So if you're unfamiliar with MIME type, the concept of MIME types is basically how a computer knows what a file is beyond just what extension it has. So that's good, because basically I was copying content from the internet and it wasn't really working, because sometimes the content doesn't come in a clean file path. Like it might say, you know, something like JPEG equals 1 0 question mark blah blah blah, and so this entire file path is an image. It leads to an image, but it doesn't end in .jpeg, so we can't tell from the extension of the image that it is a JPEG file. But when we use this MIME type library that integrated into masterplan, it can tell, oh, it's a JPEG file, even if it doesn't end in JPEG. So I'll kind of demonstrate this here real quick. And I'm specifically choosing Sonic because I know this is a weird looking Sonic. I know there's a good one I like here. Not sure where it is. Oh, well, you will go with this one by TBSF YT on DeviantArt. If we copy the link address and paste it, in this example, it did end in .png initially, but we see it also leads to this particular URL that is not a .png. But either of these should work. So let's go ahead and try this. We're gonna go to masterplan, paste content. Okay, there's the image. And now if we copy this gigantic link that does not lead to a PNG file and paste content, yeah, it's working. So it doesn't have to end in .png anymore. It doesn't have to, you know, be a logical file path for it to be usable. So that's cool. Very nice indeed. Let's see. Also, we have sound task controls. Yeah, so if we have a sound task, we have a play button that turns into a pause button when playing, and a rewind button. So that's nice. So now you don't have to just click on the sound task icon. You can actually play a sound. So that's good. Okay, so that's as absurd as I am. That's working. That's kind of working. Cool. So yeah, that's basically the big broad strokes of the stuff that I added to masterplan, and there's quite a few more things that I didn't mention here in this video. But if you want to check it out, there's a devlog post that I made on kind of iterating through the changelog, and that's where I kind of got the script for making this video, and where I'm like, okay, what am I looking at next? That's basically where I got that. So I'll put a link in the description so you can see basically the more in-depth features. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune, and this has been a in-depth look at version 0.2.0 of masterplan. Thank you very much. Catch you guys on the flip side. See ya.